It's 6:30 in the morning, and these cops are about to knock on a door.
Radio check again for the mic.
And talk to a guy about some really disturbing stuff. Right now, police are in the apartment. They're speaking with the man. Moments later, he's walked out in handcuffs. I wish I could say this is a one-time thing.
Suspect's leaving, he's getting the vehicle.
But on other days, they're doing it again and again and again. They're going to go into the home now. They have a warrant. These men and women in uniform are part of the Idaho Internet Crimes Against Children, or ICAC unit. Here on this screen, we're keeping an eye on that red pickup. And all summer long, I've been undercover with them.
Throw this on over you, let's hop in the car. You guys in? We're in. All right, let's go.
As they work to get those involved in this disgusting material off the streets.
Sometimes these unexpected things happen.
Absolutely, so you can never anticipate what's going on.
But before we can talk about these sting operations in East Idaho, we have to go here.
This is the JRW building.
To the Attorney General's office in Boise.
Our job is to locate those that might be disseminating, uploading, downloading, enticing child pornography or children.
Nick Edwards is the chief investigator for the Attorney General and the commander of the ICAC unit.
And I get this question a lot, like, are people watching what I'm doing online? Absolutely. The internet provider that you're using is absolutely watching what you're doing.
For the first time, the AG is letting media cameras inside ICAC headquarters.
Your team has to see some pretty horrific stuff.
They do.
There are 61 ICAC units across the country. They get thousands of tips every day about people viewing, sharing, or producing CSAM. That stands for Child Sex Abuse Material, commonly called child pornography.
Electronic service providers are required by federal law that they actually have to report when they believe somebody's either downloading, uploading, distributing child pornography.
Those reports go to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, where they're reviewed and then passed on to the states where investigators believe the perpetrators are. In Idaho, those cyber tips go here, where Lindsay Harris and Misty Hobbs review every single nasty one.
There's chat, there's video, there's photos, sometimes there's all in one.
Many of the tips are teenagers sexting their friends. Others involve sextortion. And then there are videos and photos where it's hard to tell if there's a child involved.
To determine if it has prosecutorial merit, would the average person look at this child and know that's a child? Internet Crimes Against Children, this is Lindsay.
Harris and Hobbs review nearly 100 cyber tips every week, and the numbers aren't slowing down. Over the past 5 years, the number of incoming tips to ICAC has gone from around 1,500 in 2020 to over 4,100 expected this year.
We had a backlog of almost 2,000 cyber tips at one point. Now, on average, we get them from the National Center and they've been looked at by someone on my team in 4 hours.
Wow.
So it's much quicker. You know, we're getting to
And
these
there's no
really fast.
backlog.
There's no backlog.
To tackle the problem, Attorney General Raul Labrador relies on an ICAC affiliate program. Here's how it works. 11 law enforcement agencies throughout the state have officers working ICAC cases full-time. They're paid by the AG, but work in police departments and sheriff's offices where they live.
We had these months and months, almost years of backlog.
Labrador says the affiliate program has been a big success.
Last year, we arrested more people and prosecuted more people than in the previous 3 years combined.
And do you predict that to keep going?
We hope it doesn't keep going because that just means that we have more children being harmed. But unfortunately, this is the kind of crime that continues to happen, and I think our team is well prepared.
That team has access to cutting-edge tools that help track down predators. And a lot of it is done inside this high-tech lab that's normally off-limits.
What type of equipment is in here? These look like some pretty heavy-duty computers.
Yeah, we have some Tolinos, and they're very powerful machines. People have gaming computers that are pretty powerful. Well, we need powerful computers that read powerful computers.
Chris Harden and other computer forensic examiners analyze hard drives, phones, computers, and other devices seized from suspected child predators.
One case we had over in eastern Idaho a couple weeks ago, there were 55 devices.
Okay, let's go to work.
Another helpful tool, this guy. He's Badger.
So he is trained to detect any electronics that store memory.
That's right. He can smell electronics that you and I can't. His partner, Lauren Lane, shows us how it's done. She and Edwards hide old hard drives, and Badger gets to work.
Seek. 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 Good, show me. Yes. Good boy.
Badger mainly works in the Treasure Valley, but here in East Idaho, Detective Mendenhall's partner, Artis, does the same thing.
We'll see what happens today.
And that brings us back to those early morning sting operations. The night before each one, everything is planned out carefully in briefings like this. There are undercover cops in here, and sensitive details are discussed, so we can't show you everything. But these officers take their work very seriously. The next morning, we're up early in Bonneville County.
It's 6:25 in the morning. This guy is about to leave for work. And here at the Ammon Field office, we're keeping an eye on him. Here's a drone operator who's monitoring the activity. The drone is hovering over the man's house. And officers here on the scene are communicating with officers who are there at the home. Here on this screen, we're keeping an eye on that red pickup. When he walks out and gets inside that truck, he's going to leave for work, and that's when he'll be pulled over.
At 6:40,
Okay, he's getting in his pickup.
he gets in his truck, pulls out of the driveway,
He's approaching Stevens.
and seconds later,
Where's Stevens and Silverstone?
59-year-old Ricky Craig is pulled over.
We've got a subject detained.
He's brought to the field office for questioning. As he's being interviewed, other members of the ICAC unit search his home and see several electronic devices. What they find is shocking. Over 20,000 images of humans engaged in sex acts with animals. On one computer, there are 7,386 photos of child sex abuse material. On another device, nearly 5,000 pictures. Owen Craig, he was on the sex offender registry years ago, but petitioned and was able to get off. Now he's charged with 15 felony counts of possessing child pornography.
This morning we're going to be serving a search warrant.
A few weeks later, we're in Pocatello. ICAC officers are looking for a man who goes by Fun0278 on the social media app Kik. Fun0278 is actually Rusty Harris. He's 55, and after police wake him up, he's taken in for questioning.
So right now, law enforcement officers are inside the trailer searching it. They'll then come out and search the truck. This label right here, these are placed on every single thing that they search. They make a list of things that would be important for the investigation. All of the electronic devices are brought out here to this forensics van. There's actually people inside right now going through the devices, seeing if there's any evidence that would be used in the case.
And they find it. Photos of girls under 14 being raped and sexually assaulted. Chats where Harris allegedly offers money for child sex abuse material featuring young kids. And perhaps the most alarming, a conversation in which he claims to have paid $250 to have sex with 3 girls, writing that the parents of the children, quote, helped the girls participate in sexual acts.
I confirmed that the individual on the account is the one who lives at this trailer court.
He's charged with 10 counts of possessing child pornography. During his interview, he denied having any physical contact with children and said those conversations were, quote, only fantasies.
Let's just get you out of there as soon as we can.
What isn't a fantasy is how common these cases are. The very next day, we're in Idaho Falls for not one, but 2 separate cases at the same apartment complex.
We've detained one of the residents of the apartment, and he's being interviewed right now.
Nathan Seelig is the suspect here. He's 43, and officers seize a large computer and 18 other devices from the apartment he shares with a family member. On those devices, videos showing hundreds of children, from babies to 16 years old, being sexually assaulted by men and women. Seelig has a folder labeled Pedo Dreams on his computer, according to officers, and now he's charged with 6 counts of possessing child pornography. And in the building right behind his, another guy in pajama pants is arrested. He's 38-year-old Matthew Dudley and is accused of uploading a CSAM photo to Bing, then asking the search engine to find him similar images. He tells officers he searched for real and AI child pornography, so he, quote, wouldn't go after real children, and the viewing the material helped him, quote, not want to sexually abuse children.
We actually were able to just pass an AI bill with the legislature.
Madison Allen is the lead deputy attorney general in the Special Prosecutions Criminal Division. And effective this year, in the eyes of the law, there's no difference between AI CSAM and other types.
Now we're able to prosecute the possession of computer-generated images as well as the normal child sexual abuse material that we see of real children.
So what about the kids who are in all of these horrific videos and photos? Allen has been able to track a few down, and they've testified in court, but finding them can be very hard.
Our victims are all over the place. When we have possession of CSAM cases, most of the time those victims are unidentified, which is very, very sad.
I assist victims of crime throughout the state.
In situations where victims can be found, Alicia Bowles is there to assist. She's the AG Victims Witness Coordinator and helps family members of suspects and other innocent people who might be affected.
And when you say assist them, what all does that entail?
That entails whatever they need. So it could be that they just want their victims' rights. With other victims, it can be much more involved. Those secondary victims, those family members, they are in absolute crisis, and for days upon weeks, because they're the ones that are actually picking up the pieces.
Mental health is important for the victims and everyone who works with ICAC. They're all required to attend individual therapy twice a year and group counseling 2 times as well. There are regular seminars and workshops focusing on self-care. And every year, there are certain tests and standards each of the ICAC officers must pass.
Members of the ICAC unit are constantly sharpening their skills and undergoing training all year long to make sure they're ready for whatever comes their way. In fact, twice a year, they're here at the shooting range, making sure they meet state standards. Ready, fire!
These officers see the worst of the worst, and it's heartbreaking when they show up to arrest someone and children are present.
I have been on scene when we've rescued live kids, and I've watched the heartbreak, I've watched the trauma, but there's massive reward that comes with that. When you take a child from a home that has been being victimized or abused and rescue a kid, there's nothing that compares to that.
With all of this on the rise, every person I spoke with in the ICAC unit this summer told me one thing: parents must be involved with their kids and their phones.
What are their kids doing on their phones? How old are they when they're having their phones? And just understanding that when you're giving that kid a phone, like you're giving them access to everything.
I've learned that it's any kid. Your kid is not immune to this.
If I were a parent starting all over again, I would, first of all, not give my kids phones, but I know that's not the reality of the world right now. But I would limit their access, and I would be very conscious about what they're downloading and what apps they're using.
As of this week, the ICAC unit has arrested nearly 50 men for child sex crimes in Idaho this year.
We're going to stay back just for a minute.
Child predators are in every community.
We're coming after you and we're going to arrest you.
They're hiding behind their phones, computers, and tablets.
They're going to be caught, and I look forward to the day when it's my privilege to prosecute them.
And these men and women are determined to hunt them down.
Somebody has to do it.
So they'll be back out early in the morning again and again.